What's going on, everybody? Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. What is going on? All right, let me. Just still sitting here at home, and I cannot find the motivation to do any damn thing.
Just still sitting here at home, and I cannot
Just
find
like that. So let's see. Mr. Mayhem, what's up? Golden Boy Expert, what's up? Ed, what's up, man? These nuts, man. Let me tell you, I can't find the motivation to do shit. I'm going to tell you. G80 Sean is on the shoulder, blew a trailer tire, man. That sucks. And if you're at Prime right now, they're going to try to pin that shit on you. There was a time that if almost anything happened to the trailer, that was going to be on Prime if it was like tire related. Now they're trying to find any way they can to put that on the driver. So if you are at Prime, hopefully that's not the case. Mr. Mayhem has that problem as well, except I can't find motivation every day. Man, let me tell you. So I got home on the 8th, right? Immediately, what I normally start doing is getting my truck ready to go to get back out on the road. So I'll bring home whatever, because I pack up like 5 duffel bags worth of clothes, stuff like that. And then when I came back, I only had like, a couple dirty ones. So I just brought those back just to get those washed. And then I was going to do a little bit of shopping, take it out there, because I like to stop out at my truck like every 3 days just to start it up and all that. Well, my personal truck went down the other day. So that kind of put me in a little bit of a bind. I mean, it'll still drive. I don't feel comfortable driving it and having it break down on the side of the road somewhere. So I went and got another car. The only problem is, and I'm going to have to wait and see how the car drives and all this shit, but they didn't have the keys to the motherfuckers. And apparently they're going to have to get a brand new key made at Audi and all this stuff. So this was like on, I think, Wednesday. And they're saying I might not even have a key till this coming up Wednesday. So that's kind of pissing me off a little bit right there. Other than that, I did get my brisket on the smoker today. Man, I've been putting that thing off for a while, and I didn't even really look at the brisket. My wife is like, I got a brisket because you said if you found one for under $80 to buy it. Well, this one's like $81. Now look at it, man. It's not even a full brisket. It's just the brisket flat. So definitely overpaid for just a flat. I don't even know how many pounds it was. I just trimmed off a little bit of the fat, put that in a little container. I'm going to put that in the oven and render down that fat. Just seasoned up the brisket, threw it out on the smoker at like 250. I'm going to let it go out there for like 6-7 hours. And I'm bringing it in here and going to finish it off in the stove. I am not babysitting no brisket. And yeah, anyway, so that's kind of what I'm doing today. All right. Anakin Moon, what's up? Luke, whatever, $10. What does that mean right there? So anyway, that's all I'm doing today. Hopefully I'll have this car Monday or Tuesday at the latest. I'm planning on getting out of here on the 26th. But if I don't find the motivation, it might be the 30th or something like that. I mean, I might stay out a little bit longer. I don't want to, but there's still some stuff that I want to get done that I've just been too. Part of it I can't get done because I just don't have a car with me. And when my wife gets home, I'm just not having the motivation to go do it. So still haven't seen my dad. Haven't seen my dad in I don't know how long. My best friend, last time I came out here, didn't get a chance to see him last time. There's a girl, if any of you guys have been watching my old videos from back in the day, she's the one that used to work for me at this mortgage company. She's like 70 something now. Haven't had a chance to see her in a while. She's the one that I got that artwork from because I was helping her out to buy some of the stuff. So this right here was one of her pieces that's right back here. As well as some of you guys have been around with me for a long time. She's the one that has the real nice painting of the lady that's kind of scantily dressed and stuff. Kind of like that. I don't know if you call that 1800s or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, haven't seen her. She's been begging me. The guy that owned my mortgage company that I worked at for damn near 20 years, he's been trying to get together, and I just can't find the motivation. I'll be honest with you. It's like I feel like I'm stuck to the bed. As a matter of fact, I might have to give me a drug test. That's almost how I feel. All right, let's see. The greedy little pig show. Yeah, I did get my taxes done, and the amount it cost me to do my taxes equaled the amount I was getting back. So, I did get those done. I don't expect there to be. Last year cost me even more money than usual to get my taxes done. First of all, because I had the sale of the truck that I sold. So the 21 Peterbilt, that brings another schedule onto your tax returns. Every time they add another schedule, that's adding some money. So I sold that Peterbilt, added another schedule, and then I'm just not caring about YouTube anymore. And for a while, my barbecue channel was still bringing in decent money. So I was still always having to file that as well. But this last year, between this channel and that channel, that channel went from like 50,000 down to like damn near anything. And this channel is about the same. So this last year is probably the last time I'll have to worry about taxes or that schedule on my taxes on that. So it won't be as complicated or as expensive next year, hopefully. All right, these nuts, am I going to hang out with the old boss I talked to on the phone? I want to. It just kind of depends on when I get this car back or when I get this car. I mean, it would definitely be a good time hanging out with him. I mean, we had some fun ass times together. Especially if you look back to like 2003 to like 2007. Actually, maybe a little bit before that. Maybe like 2000. I don't know. We had some good times there. I still remember because we met when I was working at the bank. So one of my jobs when I worked at the bank was to elicit business from small businesses and just any kind of place that could send me money or deals or their own business or whatever. So it could be a car dealership that needs their floor pan, used cars, especially small lots. They basically buy all their cars on let's just call it a line of credit. And I would go to some of these small dealerships, try to get them to give me that business. I would go to mortgage companies like I ended up working for to have them send me loans that they couldn't do for one reason or another. But anyway, that's how I met him. And I can still remember the first day I saw him. I don't remember what he had at the time, but he pulled up in front of the bank, and we were young at the time. I was probably, I don't even remember, but we were both young. He's a couple years older than me. And I was like, God damn, this guy's rolling hard, So he came in, we had a little conversation and everything. And it took me about a year to move over to that company. But first time I really went out with this company, because we used to have these like little bonuses. And if the office hit a certain amount of money every month, then we would go out to eat. And I'm talking about really go out to eat. I'm talking about Del Frisco's, Ruth Chris, just shit like that, right? And so I was thinking about working there. We spoke a lot, and he's like, well, why don't you come out to one of our employee dinners, whatever. So I went out there, and I was like, my God. I mean, Anyway, that's kind of what hooked me in. So, but anyway, to make a long story short, I'd hope to go back out and see him again when I'm out here this time. Earl has had 2 randoms since June. I'm ready for any random that they got, unless I'm on home time and they try to hit me with that alcohol test, because I will not pass the alcohol test right now. But anytime they want to give me a drug test or alcohol test when I'm out on the road, please, anytime. Because they were getting me quite a bit. They were, and we'll get to a funny story here in a second. So I pulled into Salt Lake City. I got a random drug test out there. Apparently they lost the shit. So they're asking me to find all the paperwork and all that kind of stuff. I find it, whatever. So I come back into Springfield. I get another one. Like this one was like maybe this one was first. I think I might got the one in Springfield first. A drug test and an alcohol test. Boom. Went to Salt Lake City, got that. Then I delivered. I forget what city this was in Missouri, but it was like this real bullshit Walmart in the middle of nowhere. I'm sure some of you guys know where it's at. But I'm sitting out there after I drop off my load. There's like this little mom and pop truck stop down the road next to like this little strip mall. And I get a message from my fleet manager, a call. Hey boss, I need you to go get a drug test. And I'm in the middle of nowhere, clocks out, all this stuff. So, he was like trying to come up with a plan for me to drop my trailer. Now, remember how they're acting now about drop trailers? Maybe there's a place you could drop your trailer and bobtail over, this shit. What was close by there? I mean, it wasn't close, but it was like 80 miles away. There's like that what's that place in Kansas? The big Petro down there. Anyway, I just said, fuck that. I'm just going to drive. I'll bobtail to the dealers, or I'll bobtail out to the terminal rather than do all this shit. So I just decided to bobtail out there and take it out there. But I was getting hit. I was getting hit constantly. Prime Trainer Tim, what's up? Benjamin Alexander, man, if you remember smoking crack with me, that was the best crack in the world. Because I definitely don't remember that one. All right, naturally created. What state would I consider moving to price-wise? That's a double-edged sword right there. It really depends on what your goal is. So let's say, there's always the usual suspects, right? Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, some places like that where the shit's like extremely cheap. But the problem is, a lot of times you'll buy a place out there for, it might be cheap. It might be, 150, 200 grand or whatever it is. But 10 years down the line, it's still worth 150, 200 grand, maybe a little bit more. Maybe, but you're not really gaining that appreciation. So I think it depends on where you're at in life. If it's me and I'm near the end of my life and I don't care about appreciation, then boom, that might be attractive. Right now, when I'm trying to gain value and money and all that kind of stuff, places like, Colorado, I mean, Colorado's probably one of the more perfect ones, but it just depends on where you're at. That and you're sacrificing happiness and peace, absolutely. And that could just be with driving trucks in general, as well as buying a place just because it's cheap. I mean, because if you really think about it, there's like places in West Virginia where you could like go there with like maybe $150,000 total and be able to live out there the rest of your life and be able to handle everything. But would I want to live in West Virginia? I don't know. Slime Pack, boy, I might have to get with you on something I heard a little recently. I gotta get with you and verify. All right, let's see. D Trucking. I'd rather live in my truck for the rest of my life than live in Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi. You know what? I'm going to tell you what. One thing trucking's given me is an appreciation of places I never thought that I would have appreciated before. And some of those places are like Mississippi, Alabama, those kind of places. Now, I'm not sure I would feel that comfortable in all the areas of any of those states, but all right, I'm gonna send you a message, Slime Pack, and have you verify this real quick. Give me just a second. All right, here's be on the lookout for a message. All right, this sent there. All right, so anyway. Somebody had asked me that question a while back, and I just kept forgetting to ask. So anyway, all right, Earl. True, I had to leave Colorado Springs and move back to Sacramento. I'd assume that was Sacramento. Maybe it's not Sacramento. I don't know. I couldn't deal with the boredom and crazy drivers there. It costs more here in Sac, but I'm literally at peace. Man, to me, I could live in like any little small place right now. I mean, but then when you start getting old, you start thinking about shit that you don't think about when you were younger. So you could be in some of these places that the cost of living is cheap and all that stuff. And if something happens to you, like let's say you fall down or something and you're old, the closest like actual hospital where they could actually do shit. And I'm not talking about some old doctor that walks around with a big brown bag. Your nearest hospital is like a ways away. I know if something happens to me, I got like 6 hospitals like right here. You know what I mean? But those are things I never would have thought about 10 years ago. So, oh, all right. Well, I guess that verifies it. Somebody has too much time on there. All right. I didn't think so. But I mean, it wasn't like I put that much thought in it because somebody had asked me this maybe about, and I'm talking to Jasmine right now, or Slime Pack. But anyway, somebody had brought this up to me like maybe right before I came off of home time, but I hadn't really thought about it at all. And so anyway, all right, I hear you, Jasmine. I'm not. So anyway, that's I hadn't really put any thought behind that. So anyway. All right. Let me get to these comments real quick. Yeah, so anyway, still haven't cut my hair back, still really haven't shaved it all. Need to do that. But I figured I better hurry up and get this brisket on the smoker before my wife complained about that. Cactus, right? All right. Who's my favorite pool player? Man, I don't remember. I don't be watching any pool. I mean, back in the day, you used to have to watch pool because they only had like, some of you youngins out there don't remember when they only had like 3 channels on TV. So back then you just have to, pick the worst of 3 evils. So I did watch a little bit of pool, and I think the guy's name I used to be liking back then was like Minnesota Fats or something like that. But anyway. But yeah, man, see, that's what you young people don't understand. Back in the days, we used to have to do all kinds of bullshit. Like, we'd be watching bowling. That's how bad it would be. We'd be waking up and, it could be a Saturday morning. You could have like some Sunday morning show that was all about politics or some shit. And then, anyway, all the shit was bullshit. So you'd be stuck with like bowling or something crazy like that. Well, I'm sure pool and bowling is fun if you're doing them, but I'm saying we were having to watch this shit on TV. And, I mean, I still don't watch bowling, but I have seen some Facebook videos where apparently the bowlers are getting a little bit more, because back in the day, they were kind of, very conservative with how they bowled and didn't really get into it. Now I, think they're, from what I've seen, they might be getting out there talking shit and, fist pumping and doing all kinds of dances and shit. From what I heard, I'm not sure. All right. Yeah, bowling is definitely some sleeper shit right there. All right. Golden Boy Expert, do you think that Prime will make us take pictures of our pre-trip inspection before takeout? That is something that I was like, if you look at one of the last downloads that came across your tablet, it was something to do with firmware or something like that. If they do that, I'll be pissed off about that. At that point, I will be believing that. I don't know. I just don't think there's anybody representing us right now. They keep talking about this driver advisory board, and I'm going to tell you, I just don't feel like they're representing me with some of the stuff I've been hearing about. But then again, they're really not posting anything that's going on right now. But anybody that was able to watch the last meeting with Prime, the one thing that they said the driver advisory board came up with was, people dropping trailers at the terminal that were low on fuel and weren't washed out. That's a good thing to bring up. But why is the driver advisory board self-snitching? Isn't it their job to come up with things to actually help us? You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm not a fan of what's. So do I think that could happen? Absolutely. Do I think that might be something that I might have to put my foot down on? Potentially. Or what do they say? Plant my flag on that? I don't know. Because the babying is already at an all-time high. Like, pretty soon they're gonna want to fucking drive the damn loads out for us. All right, these nuts. I don't work at Prime anymore. I'll say it, Dennis sucks. You said it. Man, I wasn't even thinking about that shit until you brought that back up. Now I'm already in a bad mood thinking about that shit. So, you know what? I will tell you this, and I'm not even joking around about it. I know I'm not going to get it anyway. But if that comes down the pike where they're like, okay, well, we need, you're going to have to take pictures of your pre-trip and all this stuff. At that point, I will go ahead and apply or do whatever to be on the driver advisory board. I will do it at that point. But I just know they don't really want nobody like me on that thing. That is my promise. If that comes up, then I will apply for it. Even though I'm not personally, I don't think I'd want to do it. But I would feel it's a sense of it would be an obligation for me to do it at that point, that things are going that far off the rails. With your paid off truck, what's your home time schedule? Every time I turn around, there's something that's changing up the way I want to run. This time I came home on the 8th. I planned on leaving out on the 26th, but I only planned on leaving out on the 26th because of what my schedule was going to be for the next couple months. So Tim Travels, hold on a second. Representing Tim Travels in the Heezy. But as far as time off goes, I'm going to probably leave out between the 26th, or let me put it this way, between the 24th and the 30th. I'm not exactly sure when, but shoot. I've already been home a week. I got paid handsomely for the first week that I was off, which was last pay period. This last pay period, I think I ended up with like $81 negative because I had some tax credits and stuff come through this time. And then next check, I'll probably end up positive because I know I got some banging detention that might come in on that check. So it really hasn't cost me anything other than what the potential was that I could have made. So if I'm off 14 days, let's say 2 weeks minimum, I would have made absolute minimum $2,500 a week. So that would have been $5,000. So if I leave out here and I'm at home for 3 weeks, it's going to end up costing me $5,000. Plus, if you really want to round it up, not $5,000 in the hole, but $5,000 what I could have made, plus anything, the minor fixed costs and stuff that I have. To be honest with you, I would take off more than I'd go out for these next 45 days and I would literally stay home for probably 5 weeks through Christmas into January, all that kind of stuff. If it was possible, if they would let me without, because I'm not really trying to deal with this winter all that much. Tim Travels is speaking the truth there. For those of you guys that aren't reading the chat, he said that you the man, which I need to agree with. Terry, I did just get this brisket on the smoker today. My wife only bought a brisket flat. So apparently when I said, my thinking was, if you find a brisket, it's less than $80, go ahead and buy it. I was thinking a full brisket. This is like a half brisket, and it's the half that I typically wouldn't have cooked if I was just cooking one half by itself. So we got that on the smoker. I'm gonna just leave it out there for like 6 hours. This thing's gonna cook fast because it's only half. Leave it out there for like 6 hours, and then once it gets to that point, I'm just gonna shut off or I'm gonna turn off the smoker, bring it in here, wrap it in some butcher paper with some of the rendered fat that I cooked down off of the brisket, throw it in there until it gets to 205, and I'm gonna be done. I'm just not finding the motivation these days to do stuff like I used to. Yeah, come on over, Terry. Sure. Somebody in here is trying to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, and I will tell you that not only did I grow up with a father that's a preacher, but at a black church. So I've already done my time. Black people already do enough time on Sundays anyway. So yeah, I put my time in there. So all right, hopefully we don't lose too many legends out there at Prime from all the hand holding currently. Man, it's getting bad. As a matter of fact, speaking of legends, I probably do need to call my boy, if I wanted to speak with an accent, Junior Honduras. Give him a call, see what's up. Do you have a barbecue channel? Antonio, my barbecue channel, and I haven't put anything on there in like 7 years, is No Hippie Barbecue and Cooking. Those of you guys looking at cooking turkeys, I got multiple, for Thanksgiving and whatnot. I got multiple turkey videos out there, anywhere from 1.8 million views all the way down to 2,000 views over there. So something for everybody, whether you're smoking it, grilling it, doing it in the oven, cooking it slow, cooking it fast, something for everybody. Am I Serena Williams without the wig? I don't know, man. No, I don't think so. Yeah, we need to borrow my wife's car real quick and run down and get me another high quality bottle of bourbon. Got to fill up them tanks when I'm at home. I did get that Audi. I'd mentioned it earlier in this video, but what happened was I go down to the store down to the dealership to buy it. There was some other salesperson that was selling it. I think he was trying to hide the keys so nobody else would buy it. But I was in the car business myself back in the day, so I decided to cock block that. I was like, all right, as long as everything is fine, I'll buy the car and we'll just do the deal, the whole deal now. And so I did that. Now, there's two things that could have happened. That other salesperson could have actually lost the keys, or he could have not lost the keys and then just didn't give them back out of retribution. So either way, what's happening is they're needing to get with the Audi dealership to get a key made for that. So hopefully I'll have that back on, like, hopefully they'll have the car, because they're going to bring it to my house at this point. Hopefully that'll be done on Tuesday, something like that. And I'll just, man, I didn't take pictures of all of the shit, but I wanted something that just with a lot of access in the back so I could just put whatever back there, but I didn't necessarily need a truck like I had last time. So that's kind of what it is. Plus, it brings me back to my youth back in the day, because everybody used to have wagons back in the day. So that's an Audi all-road wagon. So I probably won't just leave that car at the Denver yard when I, leave out of town. I'll probably just have my wife keep that here and drive it every so often. Because I think that's one of the problems with why my truck started aging so fast, was it was sitting for long periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm missing a key. Yeah, and apparently this needs to get programmed and all this shit at the Audi dealership. It's not like just some fast fix. So, yeah, I really wanted to find something for about $3,000 is really what I wanted to find. Just like a old Explorer, something like that. The problem is, wait, I already fed her. Andrea. Goddamn. Anyway, buying cars off a. I already fed her.
Hang on just a minute.
Goddamn, I already fed her. That's all I'm saying.
You did what?
I already fed her.
Oh.
No shit.
Okay,
If you'd have just listened.
He's trying to.
Fuck.
Yep.
You're out here running their fucking mouth instead of listening to somebody. Anyway.
I have my earbuds in and I'm on the phone.
Okay, you could still leave a little bit in there for her.
Yeah.
So she doesn't feel like you.
She's good. She got a little bit of it before I could get back in there. So yeah.
All right, so anyway, buying cars like that's just not the same anymore as it used to be back in the day. You got all these people scamming people and doing all that kind of stuff when you're buying cars private party and stuff like that. So I decided to just go ahead and buy from a dealer, a reputable dealership, so at least there's some recourse to it,
I'm on the phone in a few, and that was 12, 13.
And boy, it takes some discipline to go in there and buy a car. I'm gonna tell you, because we bought the car from Mercedes of Denver, and boy, it's hard to be in there with all these expensive ass cars in there and just be buying your little $9,000 car. You know what I mean? But that's what it takes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if I get a chance, because I'm like,
Shamarcus, I just
half the time I was like, is she here today? Is she not? And it's like, I don't even know.
I'm gonna have to send you a text here real quick.
So anyway,
Um,
so see what she wants. I guess I don't need to feed the dog. I just need to feed myself. Usually breaks, and I will talk to you later. No, but see, they won't. That's part of. They won't. Like they'll let Caitlin come in early. Well, I'm combo, but they let Caitlin come in early all the time. But see, Caitlin has to go up there at 9 because they don't have.
all right. So anyway, let me get back to this.
They won't let me come in early.
Yeah, no warranty, baby. That's how I roll right there. Last thing I need is a damn warranty on something. Like, what am I gonna look like paying $2,000 on a warranty for a car I paid $9,000 for that the loan is like $7,000 for? It just doesn't make no sense to do that, and it is absolutely annoying to do that shit.
I have to leave it 10:30, so it won't be hollow for 30 minutes, and I get that. Makes complete sense. So anyway. Okay. I need to ask her because she said somebody at work had them, and then I don't know if I'm not sure, because she still has the meetings.
Yep. So anyway, that's what's going on out here.
Okay. So I'll let you know tomorrow. Okay, I'll let you know tomorrow. Okay, talk to you later. Love you, bye.
So where's Iris at?
They're on their way back. I'm getting ready to call her because she called me while I was talking to Vicky, my twin.
I don't need to know all that shit.
Hello, how are you?
When's Iris gonna be here?
Oh, Lyle wants to know when Iris is gonna be here. They're about to turn on Orchard. I'll call her.
All right.
And he just fell asleep,
Hold on just a second, everybody.
You're in the car, he just fell asleep.
All right. So anyway. So that's kind of what's going on here. Need to peel this hair back, but now it's sort of like it's been so long and so raggedy for so long that I might as well just wait till right before I leave and cut it back out so I don't have to do it twice, right? So I might just not worry about that. Get that done before I leave. I did.
I don't remember if that one has measurements on it.
So I don't know. Had something else in my mind, but my wife has distracted me over here. Yes. Now, listen. Kirsty posted a video earlier about recap times maybe changing. What do you think about that? I didn't actually have a chance to watch her video yet, but if it's along the lines of what I've been seeing, I don't like that. I think it makes it easier for you, but I think it allows companies to actually come up with a reason as to, like, sometimes I think, how can I explain it? I think it gives companies a reason to feel like they can run you even harder without really benefiting that much from it. Like if a driver was to be, and they can't force you to use it, I understand that. But if a driver was to be able to use the hours the way he wanted to and not have that influence what dispatchers or companies or anything like that are really trying to do, I that's excellent. But what I think could happen, and it's happened like recently with me, where I was on this bullshit load and these guys were taking forever to load me. So I ended up having a split out of that deal. And I was telling them I need more time to run the load. And when I was telling them what my ETA was, it was based on me taking a full 10 and not just this little split. And this night person was like, well, here's when you get hours back. And I was just like, I didn't even argue with them. And I think that is kind of what opens up more than the benefits to the driver. I could be wrong, but and listen, I don't mind if we would use a 3-7 split, a 5-5 split, however you want to break that shit down. I think if it was at the driver's discretion, and here's the problem. When I say at the driver's discretion, the companies are still going to be able to look at the log. So they're still going to be able to say, are you ready to roll yet? Now, I haven't had that shit happen yet, but I've heard it. But I don't necessarily like that. Jeremy Griggs, I don't do splits unless I want to. And hey, I run the shit out of splits as long as it's at my discretion and I'm the one to benefit from it. But I think what's going to end up happening is it's going to allow dispatchers to even act more like they know how to drive a truck and be like, your hours are up. Why aren't you rolling? You know, shit like that. I just don't think that's a good thing for drivers, to be honest with you.
Period. Yeah, period.
All right, Terry Tim Travels. It's my clock. It's my CDL. Let me worry about when I run. Absolutely. And the time it came up with me was when it took me 9 hours to get loaded. So I was not going to be able to make the original appointment time. So when they were asking me when I was going to be able to make it back out there, they're sitting here looking at my clock like, you know, they're okay. So here's what happened. They're sitting here looking at my clock, and I had hours coming back a lot sooner than what a 10 would have been, right? And just because I didn't want to have to deal with some bullshit parking and stuff like that, I decided to get up when the split was over with. So I'd already gone off or went off duty, went on duty, whatever. I'm just going to say what I, made sure I had enough coolant, check the fuel level on the reefer, whatever. And I was about ready to go. And right when that happened, night dispatch texted me and asked me what time I planned on leaving. If it was the younger me, I'd have fucking cussed him out, is really what would have happened. But since I'm older and I'm like not as, high strung about shit, I just didn't say anything and I just fucking drove. Truck Trader Sam, what's up, man? I'm enjoying my well, I can't even say I'm enjoying my home time. I've been so fucking lazy that I can't really accomplish anything. Here's how lazy I am. I got a truck that's outside, my personal truck, that I need to start pulling stuff out of because I'm gonna get rid of it. And I have been too lazy to even walk outside to the curb, take a picture of it, go in there and pull out whatever little shit, because I never really had that much in there, but I just haven't been motivated. I don't even know what I'd do if I was like doing Shamarcus type shit. Shamarcus is like living that country life. He's out there stocking ponds and shit like that. Like I couldn't even think about it. That's some country shit right there. Stocking ponds. All right. And I will tell you this again. And I'm saying this in case there's any prime drivers that ever end up going to this place. This place was called Simon's Pet Food or something like that, or Simon's. I think it was Simon's Pet Food in someplace in Arkansas. It was some like off-brand name. I can't remember it. But when you go there, you got to check in with this QR code. That's fine. First of all, they don't have anywhere for you to park when you pull in. So you're looking like an asshole when you pull in there. So anyway, you got to do that. Check in with the QR code. Then they tell you, well, we're not ready for you yet. There's a dirt lot across the street. Go park over there and we'll call you. So I go pull over there, park, and I'm just kind of sitting up in the front seat, just chilling for a second. And I see somebody else drive in and they park, and there's somebody there with their personal car and they're kind of waiting there. And the guy walks over to me. He's like, how you doing? I was like, I'm doing fine. What's going on? He's like, don't you know that you're not supposed to be parking over here? Or I forgot how the conversation went, but this was the guy that owned the little dirt lot across the place. And I was like, man, listen, I didn't know if you guys, did you see the sign over there? I said, yeah, I saw the sign, but I've been to plenty of places where they had like a an agreement with the landowner or whatever. He's like, no, we don't have that. And we just towed one of their other people, customers, whatever, out of there last week. And, I don't want it to happen to you, especially since I see you here. So I'm just trying to save you a tow bill. So I was like, I hear you. So I just drove back over there, parked in the cut. Actually, I parked in with other trailers. And yeah, they were trying to tow a brother, put a boot on or something. So then they ended up giving me a door, and then I guess they had the wrong product. So then they were like, well, could you just drive to the truck stop and, drive to the truck stop and we'll call you when you're ready or when we're ready and all that stuff. So it was taking like forever. So my point is two things is if you get a load out of there, don't park at that place. And two, your fleet manager's looking at your clock like, oh, he had a chance to sleep all 7 of those hours when he was in there up and down dealing with the people fucking loading this truck and all this stuff. And anyway.
I have plenty of time in case of emergency, but I don't want them. Oh, okay. I didn't know.
All right, let's see.
That's good. So
when you're ready to sell, I'll buy it off. Which one are you talking about buying? Bandit 579.
okay.
Man, Jesse over there. One.
Okay.
Hey man, what's going on?
All right. Let me throw some papers right now. I was pulling your exact lines. I'm coming. Wait. Bye.
Listen, the Ram, man. I'm gonna tell you. I think that truck sitting around just caught up with it because I had never had any driving issues with that truck until the last time I drove it from the Denver yard. And when I finally ended up parking it, it like dumped every single fluid that was in the truck. So at this point, it's just kind of it's not worth. Listen, it's not worth anything. All right, Juan, how is flatbed at Prime? I'm not sure. I know somebody that is in flatbed, and I know she did about 7,000 last week, so her truck is paid off as well. So if she did 7,000. Let's say minimum that would have net like $4,500, $4,500 to $5,000. So I think she's doing fine, and with a payment, that'd still be like $3,500 or something like that. So, all right, nothing wrong with going company, regardless of where you're at. Too many people out here are trying to go lease before they should, and I think that if you go company and learn what you're doing first. Nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, you could almost say that I went company first because I didn't necessarily upgrade the company and solo and all that, but I stayed on my trainer's truck so long. I don't care if you're sleeping. All right. Iris, I'm messing with you. Keep looking at me. As much bullshit as you guys put me through, I could wake you up 100 fucking times and not have put you through the shit you put me through over, since you were little, fucking around and everything. That wasn't me.
Almost right there. Okay. Come here.
Get your titty out of that boy's mouth. All right, anyway.
Cute. We have Christmas ones. Is that
All right, Lyle, when I lease a truck feels that lease only goes very quick, but when you do a lease purchase, the damn truck feels like it takes forever. You are not lying about that. When you were paying off a truck, I can still remember those last 6 months on both trucks that I paid off seemed like they were taking forever. It was like I'd look at my thing, I'm like, okay, good. I only got like what's 6 months? 6 times 4. I only got like 24 more payments to go. And then it would feel like 3 months would go by, and then I'd look at it and be like, I still got like 20 payments to go. Absolutely. I did just one of my boys that was on here earlier today, Ed. I'm not sure if he's still on here. He just completed his lease, and I think he got like $12,500 on his lease completion bonus, so that's good.
Last night I did do some more merch.
Still kept telling him to do a lease purchase. I don't know. He's just hard headed, I guess.
I did this past year.
I think Lee chasing rates are picking up. I did 7,000. So yeah, it seems like that's kind of been up there. Chasing ends did 5,200. Truck is paid off too. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Everybody wants to talk smack about Prime, and you got to listen. I'm not even gonna say it anymore because you guys know who's out there and all these different companies that are putting out referral codes before they actually even ran a load. But one thing I can say with Prime and all their faults, because they do have some faults, they at least got drivers with fucking titles, period. I can assure you that you will not see that level of performance at Hirschbach, at RE Garrison, at Super Ego, or Swift, or Hirschbach, or wherever. And I'm not saying everybody's goal should be to pay off a truck. I think Hirschbach is a perfect place to go. Like if I was saying, you know what, I don't want to lease, I don't want to own my truck, but I just want to do a lease and whatever. Maybe Hirschbach is the way to go because the truck payment is so low, and if you don't plan on paying off a lease anyway, you know, maybe that makes sense. But oh, my man Jesse. Those of you guys that are at Prime, if you've seen Jesse drive around, he's the one that has the Peterbilt with the Trans Am kind of theme to it, the Smokey and the Bandit theme on that truck. Truck Trader Sam got third lease purchase 2026. Man, this thing is too expensive. That's what's scaring me right now, and that's the main reason I'm sitting here setting a bunch of money aside in my emergency fund. Isn't for emergencies, it's for when I do get that next truck. Between what I sell mine for now and what I have, I at least want to be able to pay a majority of that off. But yeah, $1,475. The guy that I know that just paid off his truck, he did a Peterbilt. He didn't get what I would have got, but his payment was like 13 something. So man, I don't know. So I at least got 3 more years, right? So if I can keep it 3 years, within 3 years when it's time for me to get off this truck, I could either, I don't know, selling trucks is not hard or not easy, but maybe I could find somebody and, you know, bless them with a situation they might not have been able to get on their own.
Earlier, I'm talking to Vicky. I have both earbuds in so I can focus on my conversations.
No, hey. Okay, so I don't know the history, but you seem to really hate Hirschbach. I actually don't hate Hirschbach at all. Actually, the only reason I hate Hirschbach is you got these false prophets or these fake coaches out here trying to compare apples to oranges. So Hirschbach, I think, is a great place to go if you like, if I was gonna think about doing a lease and I didn't know what I wanted to do and I didn't think I was gonna be anywhere long enough to pay a lease off, I would maybe think Hirschbach's a good place to go. You know what I mean? Because prime leases are meant to be completed. So there's no reason in paying $1,200 a week for however long and not get that lease completion bonus. It doesn't make sense. Likewise, the thing I don't like about Hirschbach is I hate it when people try to pull the wool over my eyes. You know, if you're gonna fuck me, just fuck me. This whole 99-cent fuel, that is the biggest scam, no matter how you break it down. So if you were to look at the Prime stuff and say, you know what, if you take the fuel surcharge and the fuel discount and combine that all together, most of the time, if you buy fuel where you're supposed to get fuel, it's going to be about 99 cents a gallon. Now, I don't know about the DEF and all that. You can do what you want with that. But I did. Anyway, that's my issue with I don't have an issue with Hirschbach. It's the people that are out there promoting them. Or, well, should I say the person? All right, one. So I could earn my own truck with Prime. My fear been having my single struggle being out 3 weeks and making 300 a week. Juan, back when I had a truck, a bad week for me was 1,500. That was a bad week. So one thing, you can go back to any of my videos. You've never heard me complain about how much money I've been making on trucks I've been running or anything like that. That's never been anything that I've ever said. I've never complained about the money, anything like that. So when you hear these people say this, that is foreign to me. Okay, so my thing is, if you really want to suck it up for 3 years and make payments on a truck for 3 years and have a title in hand with $100 balloon payment, Prime is the best way to do it. I couldn't find a regular purchase that was better than that. And my thing is, if you're going to be making the payment anyway, you might as well be doing a lease purchase. I talk to my boy Ed all the time. You might see him in here. I could not do a regular lease on a truck for 3 years and give it back. I couldn't do it. Now the lease purchase, even though I got to put some money down, that's the way to go. And it really would be the way to go if Prime wasn't trying to kick perfectly functional trucks off the fleet. All right, if you buy your truck outright after the lease is up, what's an idea of the price of the truck? I should have done a lease purchase my first year of Prime. See, here's the thing: is the value of trucks is not worth what Prime is selling them for. Let me read this comment again, just to make sure I'm along the same lines. If you buy your truck outright after the lease is up, what's the idea of the price of a truck? All right. It's not worth what you see Pedigree selling the trucks for. First of all, Pedigree looks like they're selling all these 3-year-old trucks for like $80,000. First of all, they're probably not getting $80,000 on all those trucks, but then they kind of have a captive audience to some degree. Like, I could have a better truck selling my truck against their truck, but I don't have the financing. Somebody needs to get the financing. So it's just harder for me to sell my truck, even if it's worth more, if that makes sense. So my thing is, it's easier for me to sell a truck after I've driven it, 550, 600,000 miles. The last one I sold it, I think 450, maybe 500. But this was a guy I trusted that made the payments and all this kind of stuff. That's rare.
Okay, let's go.
And actually, that was a wonderful way to sell a truck, man. When that last payment came in, when he made that last payment on the truck, I damn near cried. Because that shit was, I think he put $25,000 down and then $1,000 a week until the truck was paid off. Man, let me tell you, when that last payment hit, that did not make me feel all that good. But anyway, you'd make more money than $300. If you buy your own truck outright, all right, we've already done that. Yeah, you probably should have done that earlier on. Shamarcus sees somebody out there that has 3 paid off trucks right now at Prime. You close to your 1,000,000 miles? I think my 1,000,000 miles coming up in April of 2026. Sam Apple. I don't know Isaac Dix. Did you see this guy Truck's other channel is about to hit 100 grand? Yeah, I think that's, man, I've always kind of liked that motherfucker, other than the fact he tried to go at me a couple times, and I was him, and then there was another guy that was on YouTube that threw me in. He threw me in some shit that I really didn't want to be in, and I was about a half a step away from going ahead and unleashing on both of those channels. But I've never had a problem with him. I mean, actually, we're kind of along similar lines, to be honest with you. So yeah. Come here. Hey, Iris. Can you give me 5 though before you go? Can you give me 10? Can you kiss my booty and be my friend?
Yeah.
You don't want to kiss my booty?
No. Tell him no.
Hey, before you go downstairs, where is the best toy in the world? You better go ask him. All right, Slime Pack, my 1,000,000 miles next month. Yeah, shit. Slime Pack definitely will have 1,000,000 miles by next month if all them miles are calculated getting her back on home time. All right, let's see.
Okay.
All right, Juan left Hirschbach. Okay, I got my CDL with Hirschbach. Most of my colleagues left due to not making enough money during 23-24. I don't know. I just feel like some people are going to make it, some people aren't. And I've never said that other places aren't the places to be, because I could see me going to a number of different places. If the wrong thing happens or whatever, I don't think that I would be any less successful at some of these other places. I mean, it might be more of a challenge, and I may not be able to make as much or, whatever. But I've never thought that Prime was the end all be all, and you couldn't do it somewhere else. So, as a matter of fact, if Prime was to get rid of this drop yard in Denver, which they were almost thinking about doing, I'd actually thought about moving somewhere. I was kind of looking for places to park my truck and all that kind of stuff, but I'd also thought about other stuff, what else I could do. And one of those companies two companies that have terminals out here, Swift and Knight. Maybe not the best places I'd want to be, but a lot of times at my age, it's more about convenience than it is money and all that kind of stuff. Now, if I was 10 years younger, maybe 15 years younger, I'd have probably been somewhere else. And it might not have even been the right move. It might have been a stupid move just because you think more, you don't think things through as much when you're younger. All right. Does Prime help you start your own trucking business? Yeah, they pretty much baby you through the whole thing, man. It's like set it and forget it. So they got the little people that set you up with the business there. Some people don't like them. I find them to be very well organized. They do what I need to do. The taxes that are done there, I don't even need to submit shit on my taxes. The only thing that makes my taxes complicated is a rental property, additional 1099 income, the sale of another truck last year, and I think that's it. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned another property. Those guys, I don't have to send them shit. They could do the whole thing other than those few things. and my wife's W-2 income. That's right. So let's set it and that's the thing. That's the best thing about Prime. Set it and forget it. You don't have to, if you break down, if you break down on the side of the highway, you do not need to pick up the phone the entire time to get everything fixed and get out of there. All right, let's see. And like I said, at my age, it's just so much easier not to have to worry about stupid shit. And when you get older, like when you're younger, money is more of an issue. When you get older, it's more like convenience. And really, to be honest with you, I kind of did this backwards this time as well. So I'm sitting here looking at myself with this, and I'm just like, this really may not be the best move in general in terms of time, which is why I try to take off as much time as I can when I do come home. All right, my family struggle. Yep, all families gonna struggle. Flatbed Duke, true, but people at Prime Inc. make it seem like Prime is the end all be all. I will not ever say that. I started with Prime and I have my own truck now leased on Landstar, so you can be successful without going to Prime. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've thought about, there's certain things I just don't like. And I thought about Landstar, especially, and just one thing that I do not like, and people are like, people always say this shit. It's so easy. All you got to do is this. I hate not getting my fucking money sent through to my business account. That whole shit where we load your money on a card and you got to go out here and do all this mental gymnastics and everything to transfer money. No, that's a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker. That pisses me off right there. All these inspections like every 3 months and stuff like that. That is another thing I'm not really all that fond of. But so many things I like about it. And a lot of the things that have probably kept me from going there are things that I don't really have the right. I'm probably not even correct on why I don't like it. Like I could be saying, well, I don't like it because of the way the tolls and all this stuff are paid. I could be totally wrong on that. So, and like I said, I don't know how they're paid or not, but this is an example. So yeah, definitely don't need to go to Prime to be successful. All right. So, and hey, Flatbed Duke, Nia's a little bit different. And that Nia's a little bit different than, I'd say that I'd be a little bit different than most new people. So let's say that you take a new person that comes to Prime, and trust me, a lot of people that come to Prime, you don't need to walk around that far to realize that most of the people that are going there aren't leaving great situations, right? So you take somebody that ain't got no money in there, they ain't got no money, and you motivated them enough, and I'm not talking about you as in Prime or whatever, but they're motivated enough to go lease because they see all these numbers and what they can make and all this shit. And then they get out there and have one bad week. And unlike Nia bringing in, 2,000 or whatever she's making off of YouTube every week, or like me that I can lean back on a bunch of fucking money in the bank, he could have fucking nothing. And when you start getting negative too much and all that kind of stuff, it creates its own momentum. So, Nia, I guess my point is Nia would be doing well regardless of where she went. And just based off of the YouTube stuff, and some people are just going to it's going to be easier for them to make it just because of the money they got behind them, or just the mentality that goes along with it. And Slime Pack's a good example. Headed back home this week. listen, Slime Pack she should run a master class on this stuff right here. And that I think I can't even explain it. There's reasons why people do good in this business, and people reasons why they don't. But the fact that somebody puts themselves in position where they don't have to feel like they're at the mercy of a trucking company, I'm all for that. Whether that be because you got enough money or you make enough money on the outside, that to me that's so important that I actually leave money in an emergency fund just for them to see it and just for them to know I don't need this load right here. I don't need to come out of home time real fast. You know what I'm saying? And being in that position, it puts you in a position of power. So people can talk all they want, and I'm not putting myself in this situation or in this, but I'm talking about real YouTube people that make real money. When you're in that position and you can turn the tables and you put yourself in that power position, there's nothing better than that. So Shamarcus says we're Team Slime. Hey, you might want to cut off on that. Just joking. All right. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. I think that is what I would summarize everything up in when it comes to trucking. If you want to come into trucking and you really want to be successful, the way I'd say to be successful is to take that first year, even if you come in broke as fuck, right? Take that first year, whether you go company, lease, however you get in it, and set that money aside. Now, I'm going to say lease because I did lease, but you lease the money, put the money aside, put that money in an emergency fund. Anytime anything happens, you're not going to be, you might be pissed off about it, but you got that money behind you. And if you think about it from a fleet manager's mentality, when I think I could be wrong. And I'm not going to say my fleet manager because my fleet manager seems laid back. I'm just saying from what I've heard other fleet managers say. Be clear on that. But I think that a lot of fleet managers try to pull this power move on you. Like kind of almost a position of authority and all that kind of stuff. And, that could be or couldn't be. One thing I've learned over my course of business is you put yourself in whatever position you want to be, regardless of what the title is and all that. And I can get into the mentality of all that down, in another video. But just a short synopsis would be a reason why I would tell my fleet manager he's doing a good job. I might say that to my fleet manager, you're doing a good job. It might seem small, but usually the person that's telling somebody they're doing a good job is the person that's coming from power. So that's just a little short side note. But a lot of fleet managers try to come at you and they have a position of power. They see, that you're broke, you ain't got no money and all this kind of stuff. And I need this load ran or whatever it is that I've seen other people deal with that's not my fleet manager. But it's hard for somebody to pull that move on somebody that's got over a quarter of what that fleet manager is going to make in a year in their emergency fund, and they're putting in their emergency fund probably half of what the fleet manager is making every week minimum. It changes the dynamic. When they know that you really don't care, it changes the dynamic a bit. And I think that would be a good place for everybody to be. And that's why I always keep my money visible to them. Now, it could come back and bite me at some point, but anyway, that was a kind of a rant that really didn't go where I wanted to go. Maybe I wasn't smart enough to circle the wagons on that one, but all right. Juan, my wife wants to go to Colorado, but in Texas it's so warm compared to Colorado. Man, I wouldn't mind moving to Texas. I've seen some places out there I wouldn't mind going to outside of the mix. Yeah, the only problem is, man, that would have to be the last move because you make the wrong. Like, I'd hate to sell. I don't know. The housing market in Colorado is just so good. Prime trucking is not a business. Absolutely. I mean, we're technically a business, but really the only people running a business, if you want to call moving pieces on a chessboard and stuff like that, that's the fleet managers. I agree. All right, Truck Trader Sam, you can make money everywhere as soon as you own your own truck. The truck in trucking is all right. The trick in trucking is owning the truck and not being a slave to carriers. Absolutely agree with that for sure. That's the one thing I don't like about the situation in Prime, where they're kicking trucks off the fleet for being a certain amount of years old. And that's why I'm going to try to have enough money in the bank when my truck gets kicked off the market to just buy one cash. Even though I can't buy it cash because you have to keep it 18 months, but just have that money there. Shamarcus, they charge to file that extra shit. It's like an extra $100. Yep, absolutely. All right, so Slime Pack says her fleet manager messaged her and said, "Is it time for your home time request?" See, that's when you train somebody right there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And listen, as long as you running when you're running, I mean, I ran more last year than I wanted to run just because of unfortunate circumstances. But fuck, I was out like literally 5 months straight last month, and nobody was asking, nobody was complaining about me being out 5 months, nothing like that. So when I decided to take off this, almost a month or whatever it might be, by the time I come back out here, I'm not really expecting no pushback. And, I mean, this last load that I took that I was talking about, I don't know if my fleet manager got, feeling some kind of way about that. Because I was venting on him. I was like, listen, all I need is an appointment. What I don't need is just get there when you get there. Because if I get there when I get there and they're not open, and this kind of stuff back and forth was going on, and he's like, well, I don't know what you need to say. And I just said, listen, when I was a manager in the mortgage business, I had to listen to people say the same thing. And the reason I listened to it was because I got that check. So basically, I was telling them it's your job to let people vent on you. So anyway. All right. These nuts refuse to have kids or get married, so $100K a year as a company driver works for me. Man, I'm gonna tell you the best move I think you could make is to be married, because then you're consolidating all that stuff. As far as the kids go, man, you just never know what's gonna happen in the future. I mean, these kids that I'm talking shit to now, or whatever, those could be the ones wiping my ass later. So I gotta be half, you know what I mean? So I'd rather have them wiping my ass than some obscure motherfucker I don't know wiping my ass. So yeah, I think the kid and family thing is good to go. Now, if you wanted to say something like, here's what I will say, just because I can see this from the outside. If you're young enough, I wouldn't suggest this for anybody over like 30 something. Get into the electrician field. Man, you could make so much fucking money. My son just did that shit, and he passed whatever he just needed to pass. I don't even know what he's in right now. But just on the bottom level, you learn to get, it takes a long time. It ain't like trucking. You ain't going to be in and out in 2 months or whatever, 6 months, whatever. But that right there and getting in them unions and doing it, man, I'm telling you. If he does what he tells me he's going to do, he's going to be set. So youngins out there, don't think trucking's the only way to do it. I mean, I always thought it was stupid when they were talking about college is, dumb, because that's obviously not the case. But if you don't want to go to college, electrician, shit like that, welding, all that, don't feel like you got to stay stuck in trucking. And don't feel like you can't get off the truck and get in-house. I can't do it because I probably talk a little too much shit right now. But notice that's where all the people have been at Prime for 30 years and 20 years and all that kind of stuff. All right. All right. So make sure you praise your fleet manager to set it in their mind. You're in power seat like Jedi mind tricks. Man, yeah, listen, it is sort of like Jedi mind tricks when it comes to when you're talking with your fleet manager. You have to, it's a fine line to walk to where you're taking the subservient role outwardly, but you're portraying yourself as being in control. That's a fine line to walk right there. You know what I mean? And it can be done. It's just wordplay, stuff like that. It's kind of, you need to look at it like the person that feels like they're in charge is not the one in charge. If that makes sense. I've used that tactic when I was a manager. When I was a manager in the mortgage industry, I made the people that were under me feel like they were in control, and I just kind of try to reverse it in this. I think I saw your truck at the Denver yard, and then the next day at the first Love's leaving Denver. It's at the Denver yard right now, but it was at the Love's coming into Denver on the 7th. I delivered on the 8th, and then it's been at the terminal since the 8th. Yep, only got the one orange one right now. So if you saw that truck, then that was mine. It was parked at the front of the Navajo yard, and then I moved it down to where the prime trailers and all that stuff were a few days ago. And it'll be there till I leave. Now, I'm not sure if Slime Pack does this or not. Slime Pack goes home so much, who knows what her little thing is. But one thing that I like to do before I go home on home time is I like to fill up my tanks at least to 3/4 full of def, if I can. Because when I come off of home time, that first load or two that I run, I want that money to have already been deducted off of paychecks several weeks ago, if that makes sense. Hey, Romeo's burning. If you're ever in Denver, and here's where I would go if I lived in Denver. If you're coming down I-70, you're going to get off at I-70 or exit 278 to get to the TA and all that, and exit 279 to go to the terminal. But if you look to your right, you're going to see all those. You're going to see like Cabela's, Texas Roadhouse, Target. You're going to see trucks all along that line right there. Until Denver kicks you guys out of there, that's where I would typically park if I didn't live in Denver. Why? Because you can go get you a good dinner at the Texas Steakhouse. If you wanted to get into comedy, you go watch a comedy show. They got the Target there if you need to get some food. So that's probably where I would go if I didn't live out here. Leasing with Prime is the only real issue I have would be not having a load board to pick from. I absolutely agree. But Prime would never do that since the loads would never get picked up. Here's the thing. Now, I think Prime's model, the reason why they can't have a load board is because who knows why things have changed the way they did. I don't feel that Prime is pushing this on drivers, but if Prime was more 75-25 company to lease or 80-20, a load board would potentially be possible. But you can't have that if the majority of your fleet is going to be leased. So what they did have was that load choice board, which I almost got on that load choice board. It had to have been probably back in 2020. And I didn't even want to get on the load choice board then. The problem I was having was, and I told my fleet manager, I said, listen, my problem isn't because I care about the load choice board. My problem is, why am I fucking taking so long to get a load between, after I deliver? I'm up in the Northeast. I leave fucking Baltimore and go down, or not Baltimore, but I think this conversation was after I left Boston. I leave Boston to go somewhere to park. I go somewhere and park. You give me a fucking other load going back the other direction. So not only did I pay to get there to Boston, I paid the tolls, like going the opposite direction. Then I picked up somewhere else. And then I had to pay the tolls to go back that direction. And then I had to pick up there and then go back the other direction again. I was like, that's why I want it. So two things I did was we had that conversation, me and my fleet manager, and I said, listen, I do not necessarily need the load board. This is my reasoning. And then that kind of settled itself where we were kind of like on the same page. And then I take control of everything. So once I go somewhere, if I'm going like, let's say the Northeast or anywhere that I'm delivering at a bullshit time, I say, can I get a load? Can I get a pre-plan before I drop this load? If I drop that load and there's no pre-plan, while I'm in the dock or whatever, I say, I have not got a load. Here's where I plan on leaving. And then I don't plan on coming backtracking. So I think what's taken a lot of stress off of me is I've taken more control over what can happen to me. So that means if I don't have a pre-plan, I'm telling you where I'm going, and then you got to figure something out from there. I'm not backtracking. I'll maybe backtrack if there's not tolls and all that, but I'm not backtracking if there's a bunch of tolls. And then two, my sleep. So if I deliver load and there's, I don't have a load to, like I'm only going to sit so long without a load. As soon as I sit that amount of time, I tell them, make me available tomorrow morning at such and such a time. Here's where I'll be parked. And I think that's reduced my stress a lot. It's kept me from like feeling like I'm a victim or whatever they keep saying. It's, I think that's one thing that I've changed that made me feel a lot better is that I'm not waiting around for them to tell me what they're going to do. I'm telling them what I plan on doing, where I plan on being, things like that. Tito's and soda. What's up? Greetings from Indy, man. One of my favorite places to be is Indy, especially if I can get out there on 74 and all those, not the major highways, but yeah, 64, all that. Oh, I know. But yeah, back to the reason why load boards would never work. They'd never work because you're right. Nobody would ever pick up those loads if they didn't pay enough. I don't choose loads by the pay. But a lot of loads wouldn't get paid up or picked up. And then, yeah, so I guess I did answer that before. Woo! Romeo's burning's after my heart right here. What's the best thing to get at NAF now? Shoot, you better get you a chicken shawarma plate. A plate will allow you to eat some later. And then you're going to ask them for half couscous, half rice. And then you get you a little bit of hummus on that. And then boom, get all, they're going to have the chicken on that, but then to get all the vegetables and shit. And then all the all the little sauces they have on there. Boy, are you crazy? I'm telling you, Nav is, man. And then the sauces, you can get whatever you want. They got the tzatziki sauce, which is more of kind of a cucumber dill kind of a sauce, sour cream based. But I like to go with the I can't even think of it now. The sesame seed ground up sauce. Damn. Now I got to look it up. Come on, somebody come in here before I got to look this shit up. It's tahini. There you go, tahini. All right, these nuts. I tried Indian food almost. See, it's not like regular Indian food. See, here's the thing. I break Indian food up into two different categories: authentic and inauthentic. Just the other day, trust me, I eat the shit out of some NAF now. My daughter wanted to go to, when I was like, I'll take you guys out to eat, whatever, where you guys want to go. And she came up with this Indian restaurant. That was authentic. I don't want authentic shit. I want like the Chipotle of Mexican shit. I don't want the real Indian food. You know what I mean? So yeah, I get what listen, there's a difference. NAF is like almost like it's essentially fucking Chipotle with different flavors. It doesn't get into no crazy shit like regular Indian people get into. It's just like, you have chicken. Chipotle has chicken. It's a different flavor. You got steak. They got steak. Different flavor. You got rice. They got rice. Same different, thing. Different flavor. Now they do have couscous, which they don't, the other places doesn't have. But everything else it's the same kind of thing. All right. Authentic, do I mean made with dirty hands and feet? No, not that. I just mean like, I can't explain it. How's Prime treating y'all? Hope all is well. Prime is treating me okay. Now, there's always things I'm going to say about Prime that's not going to be like, I think Prime oftentimes likes to consider their self transparent when they really aren't all that transparent. Like, for example, if some of you guys can't look at the Friday morning meetings or whatever, but in the meetings they were talking about, we just had this driver advisory board meeting and this and that and everything. And I'm just like, the one thing they brought up in the driver advisory board meeting was about drivers not filling up trailers and not washing them when they're dropped at a terminal. First of all, that pissed me off for two reasons. First, number one, absolutely it should be done. Okay. Number two, when it takes you 2 hours to fucking go through inbound sometime, the last thing you're thinking about is going to get into washing your trailer, maybe filling it up. You're right there. No excuse for that. But two, why is the driver advisory board coming up with shit to fuck our life up even more? Other people can come up with that obvious shit. You know what I mean? Like, that shouldn't come from the driver advisory board. Shit that makes our lives easier should come from the driver advisory board. So when they say that the driver advisory board is a representation of, no, they don't represent me. And they don't even put out the minutes to the meeting anymore, so I don't even know what they're talking about. Falafel. Yeah, falafel's the shit. All right, Romeo is born and did 6,600 last week, so shit. I've literally talked to 4 people this week that did 6,000 to 7,000 last week. JJR, sometimes authentic is a bit much. Absolutely. I'll tell you a funny story about this right here, as a matter of fact. So, all right. So, those of you guys been watching my channel for a long time know that one of my friends back in the day used to be a drug dealer, like a real drug dealer. You'd never be able to tell by looking at him. But would you shut the fuck? What are you worried about when I'm really? So anyway, he used to sell enough drugs where he said, man, we used to make so much, we didn't even count it. We weighed it. So anyway, he used to always go over to his house every Sunday to have dinner, all this kind of stuff. And one day he's like, let's go to this. I think we were meeting somebody else. He's like, come up to this Indian restaurant with me. So we go up to this Indian restaurant, real Indian food, all this shit. And the next day, we go up to the dealership because we used to sell cars back in the day. This had to be probably about 1995, something like that. So we're sitting in the car. Now, this is an older white dude. I'm trying to paint the picture for you. Maybe not old at the time because he's probably 15 years older than me. No, he's 10 years older than me. So we're sitting in the car. Trust me, I did not take this the wrong way. He was making a point. I'm good. I already saw that. So we're sitting in this car waiting for customers to come in, just shooting the shit or whatever. And he's like, he says, now trust me, he was not saying the wrong way. I could understand something, but he's like, God damn, Negro, what you up here smelling like a fucking Korean? So I ate all this food that day. I was still smelling like that shit the next morning. And anyway, that was a little bit, that's a good example of the food being a little bit too authentic right there. I did just go meet him the other day, last time I was at home time, so that was a good time. I hadn't seen him in years. Iris, come here. Iris, where is the best toy in the world?
Where is the best toy in the world? What'd you do with it?
Don't tell me you took it over. You better have.
Yes.
Yeah. Where's the toy, Iris?
You have food out there?
Yeah, I figured I'd do something to keep you from bitching about every fucking thing.
I'm proud of you.
I wasn't proud that was only a brisket flat that you bought, because that definitely was a little bit, stretching for $80. So,
Have you been grocery shopping? The average tab.
I wouldn't have got
The
it.
average tab.
Don't
in
get it
groceries
next time.
is $400 to $500.
Yeah, don't get it next time.
Okay, I'm just telling you.
Have you seen what these electricity bills and water bills are?
They're not bad at all, actually. They are
Andrea,
not bad at all.
Andrea.
I do get the email for the electric bill, and I open up the water bill. And the water bill has to do with this year the sprinklers are on and last year. And it's actually been nice of them.
Andrea.
Baby? Anytime.
Anytime what?
I'm coming downstairs. It's too much. Here I go.
You're the one running your fucking mouth. All right, let's see.
Oh, you know what I had some zebra popcorn, and he's like, I tried it. I was like, So he just took a little, and then he said, I tried it. So,
All right, anyway.
yeah, he tried it, and then he.
I need to go. Man. Woo! See, I definitely look 57 years old right now. Yep. Man, I'm telling you, don't get old. You guys are, I mean, some of you guys are older than me. Like Terry, you should have told me this advice. Don't get old, but damn. Anyway, man, Romeo's burning. How did I meet my wife? That'd be a long conversation right there. I probably have to do that on another one because I'm about to have to get out here and take a look at this brisket real quick. But we can get into that. Remind me if I ever do a live again. But I'm about to have to get off of here. I do appreciate you guys stopping by. I know Hippie Trucking Transportation. Comment, subscribe. I'm out.